welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making some matcha green tea, something I've been kind of obsessed with over the past couple of years. Matcha is definitely very trendy and gotten way more popular than it ever had been in the past couple of years. The first time I ever heard about matcha was about 5 years ago, and now you can get it pretty much everywhere. They got it on Amazon, fast food chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. And going to a place like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts for a matcha is definitely a perk for convenience factor, but making it at home is really easy, and I want to show you guys how to do it. And then after we make it, I'd like to go back to my computer and talk about the potential health benefits of matcha. Okay, so you'll need a couple different things to make matcha. Number one, matcha bowl. You could really use any other bowl, but it's like a tea bowl. Basically, they're relatively cheap, $20, $30 on Amazon. I think I got this one with a matcha set from the same place that I get the matcha. Today I'm using the house matcha, which is one of the cheaper options they have on the website called xCodeh. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And also, nothing in this video is sponsored. I wish. xCodeh, hit me up. I've tried an assortment of different matchas on their website. The house matcha just kind of really is just the best value for your money, because I'm trying to save money. So some things you'll need to make a proper matcha at home is a matcha whisk. You can get an electric whisk, but personally, from my experience, the best matcha always comes from using the traditional style whisk. And then you'll need any device that you can get water up to 80 Celsius. That's very important, 80 Celsius. To get measurements absolutely perfect, you want something like a kitchen scale, but honestly, because I've been doing it for so long, I kind of just eyeball it. The only other thing you'll need is a sifter. I got this on Amazon for like $10. And also a matcha scoop, which is really cheap, and you could also use a spoon. But if you're going to use a spoon, I'd probably recommend using a scale, because you only want about 2 grams of matcha per cup. So I have my kettle at 80 Celsius right now, and the first thing you're going to want to do is grab the whisk, pour a little bit into the bowl, and what we're doing here is, number one, heating up the bamboo on the whisk so it doesn't get brittle and break, and we're also preheating the bowl. So when you pour the matcha in, or after you sift it in, it doesn't stick to the side of the bowl when you go to whisk it, because that's just not a good time. Kind of just give it a little whisk, and then from here, you empty the bowl out, and take a paper towel and dry it out. This is an important part. All you were doing there is just heating it up, and you want to get all that water out so the matcha doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl. Take the sifter. Traditionally, you'd use 2 scoops of this. About that much. Very important to try to get as much air out of this as you can when you close it. Sift it up. The reason you sift it is because you don't want clumps of matcha in the tea, because it's not a good time. Take a dry paper towel, kind of wipe that down. Use a kitchen towel, whatever you got. Rinse the strainer out, give that a nice dry. Give that a nice dry, that's, you know what I meant. Get the heated bowl, the sifted matcha. So once your kettle reads 80 Celsius, you're gonna wanna pour the water in, and you don't want too much water. I kind of eyeball it. This is where you can go on Google and get the exact measurements, but I've just been doing it every day for so long. I want about that much water. I'll put the exact amount of water you should put on screen right now. You just don't want too much, because the idea of this is to get a nice foam on top. That's ideally what you want to make a good matcha without too many big bubbles. So to start the whisking process, I kind of go around in circle, just to make sure none of it's sticking to the bottom of the bowl. You want to kind of skim across the top of the water. You don't want to push down really hard, because it can break the bamboo over time if you're really rough with it. So it's just right on the top, back and forth motion. And you can see a foam starting to build on the top here, which is good. Just keep on whisking. You don't have to whisk for too long. I kind of like to go for about 20-30 seconds. And you can notice on the side, there's some bigger bubbles, so I kind of go around the sides, just like this. Some people say to go in a zigzag pattern like this. I just find it easier just to go back and forth. All right, so now that we got a nice foam on top, what I like to do is just kind of use the whisk and kind of go in circles a little bit. Try to break up any of those big bubbles. Ready to drink. I would, give it a couple seconds, because it is very hot. And very important, rinse the whisk off with hot water. Let it dry a little bit. And you can use something like this, which is a whisk holder. There's also a proper word for it. I'll put it on screen. Basically, you place it on there I'd let it dry just a little bit, because if it's really wet and you put it in there, it can get, dark and eventually get moldy. That's one of the things that can happen to these whisks. What I like to do to dry the whisk after you rinse it off with hot water is kind of just pat dry the bottom like this. Give it a little light, very light, little pat. And then I'll let that sit on the counter for a little bit, and then maybe in like an hour or so, I'll come back and then I'll put it, I'll just demonstrate how this goes. Just like that. And that helps keep the shape of the whisk. It kind of just gets a little bit together like this, and you really want it to be more apart like that. This one's getting a little bit ratty. I gotta get a newer one at some point. But these things can last you a year, 2 years, even longer if you take care of them. So anyways, I feel like me talking for a little bit has given it enough cool down time. And there's the matcha right there. See the nice jiggle on top, the foam? That's what you're looking for. Cheers, everybody. I'd like to talk about the health benefits, but before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me, my company, snazzysesh.com. If you guys are interested in getting baked, buying stuff delivered right to your door, we got HHC gummies and we have HHC vapes, a couple different flavors of vapes, brand new one out, Apple Mac, my personal favorite. Check out snazzysesh.com for more information. So you know how to make matcha at home. And before I get into health benefits and stuff, I'd like to say I'm not a professional matcha maker. I've been doing it for a couple years now. And I'd also like to say I'm not a medical professional. I'm getting a lot of this information off of Google. Matcha is essentially just green tea in a powder form. A standard cup of tea is where you take tea, you put it into a bag, and then you brew it into hot water and then take the bag out and discard it. But with matcha, you take the entire green tea leaves, powder it, and then consume the entire thing. Matcha is rich in antioxidants, which has been known to protect against cellular damage caused by free radicals. This may prevent chronic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's. And probably the number one thing that really made me want to give it a try is coffee kind of gives me like the jitters. It kind of makes my anxiety a little bit worse sometimes. It tastes great. Let's not lie to ourselves. Nice coffee, milk and sugar, incredible. There's not a better way to start the day if you ask me. It's just so good. But it was giving me a lot of anxiety. And something that matcha has in it is called L-theanine, which on its own can improve cognitive function, like memory, attention, and reaction time. But the L-theanine kind of helps level out the caffeine. So you get a lot less of the caffeine spike when you first drink coffee to then the eventual crash. It's more of just a gradual up and then a slow ride down. And there's also studies showing that it can help strengthen the immune system, reduce the risk of infection. And for people who are trying to lose weight, there's a compound called xCodeh, which has been known to increase metabolism and help the body burn fat. So let's talk about the price and where you should buy matcha, because the price is obviously something very important, especially with the economy where it is now. Something you do every single day, it all adds up. And now I mentioned at the beginning of the video, going to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, for the occasional treat, yeah, it's pretty good. But honestly, the matcha you can make at home tastes a lot better and is a lot more cost effective. So with the help of ChatGPT, because I'm a high school dropout, I looked online for the cheapest instant coffee that you could buy, which I think was Folgers. I'm sure that Great Value Walmart brand has a little bit less expensive, but it was $13.49 for 22.8 ounces of coffee. And the coffee that I used to make in the AeroPress was about 16 grams of coffee per cup. I'll put the math on screen right here if you want to break it down yourself, but it comes out to about 34 cents per cup of coffee. So the Hibikian house matcha that I buy is $58 for 240 grams, which is a lot of matcha. Once again, I'll put the math on screen right here if you'd like to break it down yourself. But the math equates to about 48 cents per cup. So it is slightly more expensive than instant coffee, but for just 10 cents more, you get all of these health benefits that coffee doesn't necessarily have. And honestly, even if you were to drink 2 matchas a day, that's only 96 cents. Comparing that to going to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or really any coffee shop to get yourself like a matcha latte, you're saving money astronomically. You're going to be spending $3 to $5. If you're going to Starbucks with a venti, probably $6 or $7 a day. And because we're on the topic of how much things cost, I'm sure you're wondering, how much does the whisk cost? How much does the bowl cost? You can get a starter kit, which comes with a bowl, a whisk, and a little scoop for about $63 on the same website that I buy the matcha from. You can probably find one cheaper on Amazon or someplace like that. So initially, with a kettle, which can range from $40 to $100, it does seem like a bit of an investment for something to try. So maybe go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts just to see if you enjoy the taste of matcha, because it's not like overwhelmingly amazing. If you're going to compare it to a light and sweet iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts or something, obviously the taste is going to be night and day, not the same. But personally, I love the taste of matcha without adding anything. You can add almond milk, anything you want to it. So let's finally talk about where to buy matcha. You could buy matcha so many different websites, so many different places. I'm sure the grocery store has some. There's a couple different grades of matcha. It goes ceremonial grade, culinary grade, and then ingredient grade. Ingredient grade isn't something that you would make into a bowl and drink. It's more of something that you would cook with. Same with culinary grade. The ingredient in culinary grade is more so to put into things to either give it like a nice bright green color or to just give it a very subtle taste. The culinary grade of matcha is from the first harvest of the matcha leaves. The more vibrant green that the matcha powder is usually indicates a higher quality. When you get into the culinary and ingredient grade matchas, they start to get like a little orangish brown tint to it. It's not as vibrant green. But not all culinary grade matcha is the same. Like anything in life, when there's something that's trending online, there's always people that are going to take advantage of people and sell a lower quality product with a fancy label on it and deceive people online. I've tried matcha from places like Amazon, a couple different online websites, and none of it is ever really compared to this one website that I've been buying matcha from for probably 3 or 4 years now, Hibiki Ann. And once again, I'm not sponsored by them. I really wish, Hibiki Ann, if you're watching this, please hit me up. The reason that I was drawn to this website is because it's from a small farm in Japan, which is something I really appreciate because currently with the chain restaurants like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, I know I've mentioned them a lot, those are just the two places that I could just easily get it to. A lot of places have it like local cafes, and that's always usually a little bit better quality. When there's giant corporations trying to take a hold of this trend, they're going to try to cut cost as much as possible. And a lot of the matcha farms in Japan are being taken over by these big corporations and being told not to make it the traditional way, to just try to get as much as possible, the most yield, so they can sell as much as they possibly can. So if you do a little bit of research on where to buy matcha, you could still find a lot of small farms in Japan which sell just the best matcha in the world. And the difference in quality and taste is just astronomical. I can't say that I've ever had a matcha from either a cafe, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts that has ever even compared to something from like Hibiki Ann. I really hope I'm saying Hibiki Ann right. So basically what I'm saying, over the past couple years, corporate greed has definitely taken a hold of the matcha market. And I can't honestly recommend to go to your local grocery store or go to Amazon and buy some matcha because at just about 10 cents more than your average cup of instant coffee, I really think it is worth it to support a local farm that's been doing it the same traditional way for generations. So now you know how to make matcha, you know where to buy it, you know what you need to make it. It might seem like a little bit more work than putting a K-cup in a Keurig machine and press and go and then running out the door. But I kind of like the little 2 to 5 minute little tea ceremony in the morning. It really kind of helps me get my day started. And I don't know if it's psychological or not, but just the whole idea of drinking something that I know has some health benefits to it really just brightens my mood. It kind of just always puts me in a good mood. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about why I prefer matcha over coffee. But before I do that, I'd like to thank everybody on screen right now for supporting me over on Patreon. For $1 or $2 a month, you can support my channel and get access to 175 plus unlisted videos, which is all like 20 to 40 minute videos of me blazing, answering questions, giving updates on my exotic tomato plants outside, which in a couple weeks are getting close to harvest, which is really exciting. Check out the link in the description and in the pinned comment for more information, and thank you everybody on screen for your support. So let's be real. Coffee does taste very good. One of the greatest ways to start the day. It's just amazing. It smells good in the house when you make it. There truly is nothing like a little hazelnut iced coffee, milk and sugar from Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe a little turbo shot in there. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing. But some reasons that kind of made me want to switch over to matcha, or at least try it, is I personally have acid reflux, and coffee obviously is not something that's advised to be drinking with acid reflux. I know a lot of you guys watching don't have that problem, but that's just one of the reasons that kind of made me want to try matcha myself. Some examples that absolutely apply to you watching this video: when you drink coffee, you get some nasty breath. Let's be real, dude. There's nothing worse than, especially people who don't brush their teeth in the morning and drink coffee. It's got to be one of the worst smells in the world. And on top of that, it can stain your teeth over time. You got the cup of coffee and you're sipping it throughout the day, maybe getting multiple, just constantly sipping it throughout your workday. And over time, that can absolutely stain your teeth. And I'm not trying to make this video trying to bash coffee saying it's bad for you whatsoever, because I know that there are some health benefits. It can help your brain function with the caffeine in it. I know that there's a lot of studies that people who drink coffee are a lot more productive. But for people like myself with anxiety and a little bit sensitive to caffeine, coffee sometimes just does not hit right. I'll tell you that for one thing. So comparing the taste from coffee to matcha, clearly coffee is the winner. Coffee is just amazing. But when it comes to matcha, there's a lot of different options. You can get a milk frother, get some almond milk in there, normal milk if you're into that. Oat milk is also really good in matcha. Make yourself a little matcha latte at home. I still drink coffee here and there, but it's really only when I have like a lot of things to do. I need to clean the whole house. I need to edit a 40-minute video. So let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried matcha, if you're interested in it at all. I mean, clearly you're a little bit interested if you clicked on the video, especially watching to this point. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending the time out of your day. And I'd like to say one more time before this video ends, I'm not a medical professional and I'm not a matcha professional. I know there's going to be some people who watch this just like, oh, dude, you don't whisk it like that. You don't do this, you don't do that. For the most part, I think I've got it down though. I'll put links down below, and once again, not sponsored by Hibiki Ann, I wish. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll have a video coming out very soon where I'm making some bread, dude. Some artisanal bread. I made one the other day. It came out so good. So, listen, I'm a seasoned veteran chef professional now. I can make bread. Cooking with xCodeh or cooking with cody. Let me know which one I should choose for a title in the comments down below. I hope you got some helpful tips from this video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on it if you enjoyed. Stay high, stay lifted, and stay snazzy. Peace.